All right. All right, well, welcome to recognizing and avoiding financial scams. Scammers do not discriminate. They don't care about your age, race, gender identity, profession, education. All they care about is how much information that they can learn about you so that they can earn your hard-earned money. No one is immune, not even me. I'm Stephanie McCraffick. I have been working in the financial industry since I was 18 years old. I have been an anti-fraud professional for over 7 years, and I'm a certified fraud examiner. And I fell victim to a targeted phishing attack simulation. At a previous employer, I worked really long hours. There was a huge fraud surge, lots of overtime. My days typically started between 6 and 6:30 a.m. On this particular morning, I got into work, hadn't had my coffee yet, opened up my computer and email, and I had this message from my manager that in big, bold capital letters said, "Why didn't you tell me about this customer?" I panicked, I opened the email, clicked the attachment, and then a pop-up came up and said, this was a simulated attack. Oh, I was so embarrassed. When I took a look again, I saw all the red warning signs. I was a senior fraud analyst. I was part of the social engineering team that designed and developed this testing, and it got me. I was lucky. My mistake didn't come with a big price tag. Anyone can be scammed. There's a perfect scam out there for each and every one of us. I've worked with certified fraud examiners, chief information security officers, cybersecurity specialists, fraud analysts, all who have been targeted and victimized in scams. So our goal today is to go through some of the psychology behind scams. Why do we fall victim? Look at how scams work, help us recognize the signs of a scam, looking at some of the current scams and real-life examples, and some tools that we can use to help avoid scams. So why do we fall victim to scams? We're going to go through about 7 different areas that help make us vulnerable when it comes to being targeted and victimized. The first is optimism bias. A neuroscientist, Talia Sherratt, tells us that 80% of people in their brains believe that they are less likely than their peers to experience negative events and more likely to experience positive events. This is that feeling like it won't happen to me. So unless you're like me, where all you think about is fraud, like I go to a wedding, you know how people have that card box where you put your card in? I will sit and stare at that box until somebody secures it because I'm worried it's gonna get stolen. That's how much I think about it. I can't enjoy myself until I know it's secure. Most people aren't like me. Most people don't go around thinking of the most negative thing that's gonna happen or worrying about, the worst scam that could happen. And naturally, when they receive something that's suspicious, their first thought isn't to go, that could be a scam. Now I bet some of you, if not most of you, are thinking, I would know. I would know it was a scam. I could spot it. So let's do a little experiment. So I'm going to give you some abilities and characteristics, and I want you to think for yourself about where you fall in relationship to the rest of the population. When it comes to getting along with others, how good are you at getting along with others? Who here believes that they would fall in the bottom 25%? You don't have to tell me, but think about it. How about the top 25%? Let's think about this with some other characteristics. How about your driving ability? How interesting you are, how attractive you are, how honest you are, how about how modest you are? So most of us typically put ourselves at about average or maybe slightly above average, but it's statistically impossible for all of us to be just a little bit better or about the same as everybody else. So because most of us innately have this optimism bias, it makes us more vulnerable to scams because we think that we're smarter than the other guy, we're better off, and it can't happen to us. And fraudsters know this, and they count on it. So some of the other areas that fraudsters target are areas when we're our most vulnerable. So they look at speed, distraction, and being busy. We live in a world of here and now and instant gratification, where people and information are coming at us like the speed of light. These attacks are specifically targeted and aimed to place traps and tricks into your day-to-day routines. So that way, you're none the wiser because you're just going about your day-to-day life. They try to create a sense of urgency and something to divert your attention. Think about the phrase, "Can you get this done for me really quick?" It's that speed, trying to keep things moving. They're also going to play on our fear, our scarcity, the idea of fear of missing out on something. So whether this is the fear of the consequences of your actions or your inactions, whether you're afraid for your safety or the safety of someone you love, this could be fear or concern for upsetting or disappointing someone, or maybe the fear of standing out or not fitting in. These scams and emotions drive our actions, and scammers count on this. So before you jump into your next communication, think about what emotion is driving this action. Is it fear? Is it concern? Is there an emotional charge to the communication that you're responding to? Being helpful, reciprocity, being liked. It's in our nature to want to help our community, help others, and scammers are looking at every opportunity to cash in on this as well. Think about when someone holds a door open for you. You're more likely to return the favor in kind if someone held the door open than if they didn't. It's in our human nature to feel like we need to return that favor. Same thing if you go to Starbucks and the person in front of you buys a coffee. Most people feel like they have to return the favor and buy the coffee for the person behind them. And when you look at information, think about trials. You're giving somebody all of your information for then you to be able to try their product or service. So you're giving information, and in return, you're getting to use their service and try it, and in return, they're getting all of your information. So it's that idea of gifting and reciprocity that's really utilized by scammers. And then trusting and authority. So we like to put our trust in people first before they give us a reason not to. It's more of a, I'm going to trust you unless you give me a reason not to. Things like relationship, brand, title, position. These things give people natural authority that we're going to trust them, and scammers use this to their advantage. With the way technology is moving now and advancing, we really need to place more weight on verifying our sources of communication before we just trust them. Loneliness. It's in our human nature to want to be with other people, to need to be with other people, and that desire of human connection can lead us right into the hands of scammers. Romance scams, friendly fraud scams. These people are not quick turnaround scams. They're in it for the long haul, and they have no problem putting time and energy and real commitment into these types of scams. They play on that aspect of our human nature. And money. Cha-ching. We all want a little more money in our pocket. This includes scammers. So they're looking for every opportunity to cash in. Whether this be side jobs, side hustles, they're always looking out for different ways to pick up quick cash. There's a perfect scam out there for each and every one of us. So this doesn't mean that we're doomed. Knowledge is power, and being able to recognize how these scams work and kind of the red flags that go along with the scams, as well as some of our own red flags and how we respond to things, is going to help prepare us and better help us protect ourselves from these scammers. So how does a scam work? This is kind of the basic roadmap of how scammers trick millions of people out of billions of dollars every day. So first, there's a scammer. They're going to have a desire for either confidential information or money, and then they have a plan. They're going to pick their target audience. They're going to select their victims carefully, and figure out who their target audience is and what kind of messages they're going to send out and how they're going to send them. And we have the baited hook. This is why it's called phishing. So there's a specific lure in the message that these specific targeted victims are picked for. And it's going to have a message that may be reasonable, logical, it might be exciting, it could be triggering fear or panic. And the goal is to build on that hook and start a conversation. The longer and the more conversation they can get going with their victims, the more information they can gain, and the more likely that person is to take the bait. And that's how we end up with a victim. They're going to keep you talking, keep you on the line of communication as long as possible, and they're going to lure you into giving out your confidential information or money. So this is kind of the basic roadmap of a scam and how we go through how the basic scams work. So some signs that it's a scam, when we're going to put the brakes on and take a pause. If they're posing as a figure of authority or known organization. So officials, licensing boards, financial institutions, utility companies. Like I said, they're going to use people that you already have established trust and relationships in, people you know. Sometimes they may pose as people in your life, a child, a parent. They're going to use any type of authority or connection or relationship they can. They're going to claim it's emergency. So somebody's in trouble overseas, and if you don't help them, they're going to get hurt, or they're in jail and they need bailout money, or there's been an accident. If there's any type of act now, urgent emergency, it's a sign it's a scam. If they're using pressure or threats, this could be, threats against your life. This could be threats against somebody else you love. Any type of pressure or threat that's used, it could be taking away a license. Those are going to be signs that it's a scam. Or a threat of a police showing up at your door. That's another one that's used a lot. It's unexpected or out of the blue. So you get a phone call from the IRS that says you owe money, and if you don't pay now, you're going to be in big trouble. You didn't think you owed any collection debt, but they said you have to pay, right? Out of the blue, no knowledge of it. Sign it's a scam. Or you have something show up at your door. It even requires that you have to sign for it. It's a check. If you weren't expecting a check in the mail, it's a scam. Don't cash it. At the very least, call the legitimate source that's on the check to verify its content. It's a secret. If the person is telling you, they're keeping you on the line, telling you what to say, how to say it, they're telling you not to tell your friends and family about it or your financial institution, this is because they don't want other people to know what's going on so that they can tell you it's a scam or talk you out of it. They may even go as far as to coach you what to say to your financial institution or your friends or family, or tell you that they're in on it. You can't trust your financial institution because they're in on it. If the scammer tells you how to pay, they're going to tell you to use things like a wire, cryptocurrency, or Bitcoin, person-to-person payment services like Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, Apple Pay, Western Unions. These types of services are like giving cash to a stranger, and most of the time there's no way to recover the funds. They start asking for sensitive or private information. This could be account numbers, passwords, your social security number, credit card or debit card numbers, online banking information, sensitive photos. These are all things that can be used to their benefit later. And lastly, if it seems too good to be true. We all have that innate intuition that tells us, something doesn't feel quite right here, or this seems too good, like I'm too excited about this. That should be a sign to slow down and put on the brakes. Take an extra look, ask some more questions, seek out other advice. So let's go through some trending scams and some real life victims. So the current trending scams that are circulating right now that we're seeing are imposter scams or phishing scams, gift card scams, buying and selling things online, travel scams, and friendly fraud and romance scams. There are lots of others out there, but these are the ones we're seeing the most right now. So imposter employee scams are where the scammers are going to take advantage of technology and familiar organizations. So for an example, a scammer may go out and say they have a target market of they're going to target the Rochester area. So they're going to go out in the dark market and they're going to buy a list of phone numbers that start with the 507 area code, and they're going to send out a massive phishing attempt to a bunch of people in the area pretending to be a local credit union. This actually has nothing to do with the organization they're impersonating. It just happens to follow their pattern and what they need to get their victims to click on the bait. So some commonly impersonated, calls, texts, emails are going to come from Amazon. Everybody trusts Amazon, they know Amazon. Your financial institutions. These are very popular to simulate attacks from your financial institutions. Your utility company, your cell phone or cable provider, Microsoft and Home Depot. Typically, scammers are going to focus on things like issues or delays in your order, billing concerns, a locked account, a refund, or fraudulent charge notification. This isn't all-encompassing, but these tend to be the hot button issues that get people to kind of react and do that knee-jerk trigger because it's a concerning thing that they think is going to impact them. You have a question?
In the past, I had at least 4 Amazon credit cards that were all hacked.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the Amazon fraud people that told me, I think you should get rid of this Amazon Visa card and do something else. And I did, and I haven't had any problems since.
Okay, so the question is, there was an issue in the past with they had multiple repeats of Amazon Visa credit card having repeated fraud attacks, and they had been instructed by Amazon to close the card completely, and that resolved the issue. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we definitely, sometimes that's what there is to do. It's not what you want to do, but sometimes that's what there is to do to handle it. It could be a bigger issue of credentials being compromised potentially, and that's why they kept getting in or getting information, but it's hard to say for sure. Yeah. The other big thing you'll see with these types of attacks is, especially during the winter months, they're going to pose as your utility company and threaten you to turn off your heat during the cold months if a payment's not made. A lot of times we also see this associated with gift cards being asked to be used for payments, which is why you see a lot of commercials now of RPU and our utilities companies saying, like, we won't ask you to pay us with gift cards. That's why. It's because of these kinds of scams. So some of the warning signs with these scams are the urgent action is required or something bad's going to happen. There's fear or coercion being used. You're receiving an unsolicited message, something you weren't expecting about an order error, cancellation of service, or a fraudulent charge. You have a message that contains a link or attachment. They contain strange spelling, grammar, or formatting issues. This can sometimes be a huge red flag, right? But with the advancements and the use of AI now, our scammers are using AI just as much, and they're getting better and better at these messages because these messages are now being written for them by AI. AI is artificial intelligence, if people don't know what that acronym is. If you're asked to provide account number or a code, so there are certain codes that are triggered, especially like with your financial institutions or two-factor authentications that are set up on certain accounts. And what the scammers will do is they'll ask for this code or number from people to be able to get into those accounts, as it's a secondary block that they need that information to get in. And then if funds are being requested via gift card or person-to-person payment service like Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, or digital currency. So here's some real-life examples. And I use some that are current for us. So you might have seen some of these recently. These messages might seem really legit, really authentic. They've even got our logo, right? So here are the things I want you to know. These are all scams, okay? Here you can see it, the way it phrases, the Mayo employees see you. Your account's been restricted as you violated a mobile application, and there's a link to click. Notice how the Mayo Credit Union is my PTF after it, right? before the .org. Same here, a link to click. The link to click has nothing to do with Mayo Credit Union. It's about verifying a charge that you don't recognize. This is not how we do our verification. If there's a charge you don't recognize, there's a phone number to call on the back of your debit card. Same thing over here, comes from a strange phone number. The website is not, there's this extra piece at the end, it's not our real website. Failure to comply will lead to permanent account closure, right? There's those triggers of fear. Something bad's gonna happen if you don't act right now, okay? The other thing to be aware of is these report as junk buttons on your phone. It's not as a big deal, but as on your emails, be aware of those because those could hide malicious links as well. So always just delete the email.
What was that last phrase?
This one, failure to comply verification will lead to permanent account closure.
No, I mean when you go down further.
What does this say down here? The question's what's down here? Yeah, it just says the sender is not in your contact list. So that's another tip you can use is you could put the phone number that is your normal phone number from our verification that is on the back of your card. You could put that in your contact list and then your phone will recognize it. For this person, they didn't have that in there, so their phone was telling them, you don't know this person, you don't have them saved. Here's some more examples. All scams. So again, we see the link has nothing to do with us. It's not our real link. The type is weird. Again, it tells you to act now or things will be canceled. This one's telling you to visit another link. If you don't recognize it, it's not telling you to call our main number. And over here, it's call now. Unusual activity, right? And there's a phone number link here to click. Here's some other ones. These ones aren't ours, but they're still funny. This one is funny because it says, hi there, I'm calling you from Spectrum. This was a voicemail. This is a transcription from a voicemail. Calling you from Spectrum to qualify you for 40% off your bill. I don't know about you, but Spectrum's never offered me 40% off my bill, right? Too good to be true. Here again, Comcast, Xfinity, 50% off. Kindly call us back. Too good to be true. And this one's from Amazon. You can see like the weird font here in this message. It's talking about a subscription. You get a year of Geek Squad, has an order number, could trigger like, oh, I didn't set this up, things like that. So how you can protect yourself from these kind of scams, go to the company's actual app, their direct website, or call their customer service line on their main page. Whenever you Google a company's website, make sure you type in the actual www.amazon.com, right? Don't Google the name Amazon and then click a link because scammers pay to have their malicious links pushed up in the search results. So make sure you're actually typing in the website name. If a company needs to refund you, they already have your account information or your card number. You don't need to give it to them. If it is a legitimate refund, they processed a payment, they have the information to process the return. They don't need that information again. Don't answer phone calls that you don't know, or just hang up on them. It's not worth it. If you don't know it, it's a scammer. If it's that important, they're going to leave you a voicemail. Block scam numbers and email addresses. There's great buttons now. You can just slide over on your devices and hit block. Just clear them out, block them. Legitimate businesses will never ask you to make a payment with a gift card. Gift cards are for gifts. They won't ask you to make a payment. A few other things is companies like Apple and Microsoft will not contact you for tech support unless you have reached out to them and asked for tech support. Do not allow people to remote access into your devices. There's a lot of things now where you'll call somebody about a message you got about a fraudulent charge notification. They'll say, okay, we need you to download this app so that we can get in and help support you. Do not download remote desktop apps or applications on your phones or computers. And do not rely on caller ID to determine if it's legitimate. Spoofing is a popular tool used now to mimic phone numbers, names, contact information, and they can't be relied on a way to verify if something's legitimate. And if anything feels off, alert your financial institution. They are your partners in this, and they're educated to spot these things. Let somebody know, and they can help walk you through if they think it's legitimate or not. The next kind of scam we're talking through is the buying and selling scams online. Buying and selling things online is amazing. It's a great way to find great deals, make some extra cash. Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and other sites offer lots of goods and attract lots of buyers and scammers. Okay, so here are some ways that the scammers try to cheat you and what you can do about it. So fake payments. So this is when the scammer is going to pretend that they're a buyer and they want to buy something from you. And then they're going to say, okay, how do you want me to send you a payment? And you'll give them your PayPal or your Zelle or whatever. And they'll say, okay, I sent it. And you're like, I didn't get anything. And then they'll send you a proof like here's a picture of that I already sent it to you. You need to send me money back. I sent it to you, or send me the item. Or maybe they'll say, oh, I paid you twice. You need to refund one of my payments, right? So then you're out your item and or money based on this scam. Another variation of the same situation as above, you've got a buyer, they're saying they're gonna pay you, and they're gonna pay you through Zelle. We see this a lot with Zelle. It can happen with the other ones, but we see it a lot with Zelle, where they're gonna pay you through Zelle, and they'll say, I sent the money to you, why didn't you get it? Well, it's not here, you know, I don't see it. Check your email. So you get an email from a fake Zelle telling you need to set up a business account in order to accept payments. This is not how Zelle works. They don't have business accounts in order to accept payments from people. So there's fake check overpayments. This scam will be, I'm going to buy something from you, I'm going to send you a check in the mail. And let's say you're selling it for $1,000 and they're going to send it to you for $2,000. And the rest is, oh, just send the rest back to me, or I need it for my mover, don't worry about it, right? So they're trying to overpay you for something. So you deposit that check, send the money off that was extra, and then when that check comes back bad, you're on the hook for it to your financial institution. And then the fake verification codes. So this is where the scammer is going to say, I've heard a lot about fraud and online scams and fake accounts, so I need to verify that you're a real person. So I'm going to send you a code. What they're doing is they're sending you a Google Voice verification code, and when you send that code back, they're linking your phone number to a Google phone number that they can then later use to scam other people. And when those scams are traced back, they're going to be traced back to your phone number. So some of the warning signs, if you're asked to give out your phone number so they can call you, you don't need to give out your phone number. They can communicate with you on the messaging app. If they keep sending you messages from the various accounts, I had someone once when I was selling something send me 6 messages from 6 different accounts. And I kept saying, like, I'm not giving you my phone number. I'm not giving you my phone number. They kept creating accounts to send me messages to try to scam me out of whatever I was selling. If they give you a story about why they're sending extra money, right? So like, I have a mover that needs extra money that you'll have to pay them, things like that. If you're asked to pay with gift cards, Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, or digital currency. One moment here. Excuse me. So a lot of the times if you're trying to buy something online, they're going to want to use these services because you can't get your money back if you don't get your item you're trying to purchase. They're sending more than you're asking for. If the price is extremely low, be cautious if something is priced really, really low. There's a reason that they're doing that, so just be careful. And here's an example of the Zelle email I was talking about. So this is the one that they'll say that you get from your Zelle account. You can notice up here it's Zelle services 123@gmail. Zelle does not have their email provider as Gmail. And it'll say, oh, you received $300. It's pending because we noticed you don't have a business account, so it's limited and you have to send this money back. Zelle does not work this way. This is a fake scam email. So how you can protect yourself is familiarize yourself with these person-to-person payment services like Zelle, Cash App, and Venmo. Do not use these services for the first time if you're being asked for it for a payment. The first time you've ever heard of Zelle is when somebody online is saying, I want to send you money through Zelle, or I want to buy something using Zelle. That is not the time to set it up and learn about it. Zelle does not directly email individuals who have Zelle set up with their financial institutions. Understand how these services interact with your financial. Are they linked directly through your account number? Are they linked through your debit card? Is it a company within your financial institution, a service that they offer, or is it a separate service from a separate company? Zelle is designed for friends and family only. So this is for paying your mother-in-law back for the beef that you shared and bought, or your best friend back for coffee, or grandma's paying you for the Girl Scout cookies that your daughter was selling, right? That's what this is for. That's what these person-to-person services are for. They're not for buying and selling with strangers online. And legitimate businesses will accept multiple payment methods. Some of these cash services are becoming more and more popular with businesses. But use caution, because real businesses are going to offer you multiple ways to pay. If they're using only Zelle, proceed with extreme caution or walk away, because not only could it be a scam, but they really don't have your best interest in mind as a consumer. Because once you send that money off, it's gone. You have no way to protect you for your goods or services that you're purchasing. Again, you don't need a business account to accept or receive money with Zelle. And never give out your usernames, passwords, PINs, codes, anything like that that's sent to your phone or your email. All right, moving on. We're going to do gift cards. Gift cards are loved by scammers because they're really hard to trace and really impossible to recover your funds from. So some of the various scams and how they work are third-party purchase gift cards. So this is when you're going to walk into a store and buy a gift card, right? What the scammers do is they go to stores, they'll scratch off the card numbers and the pins, steal the information, and then replace the stickers and cover things back up. When that card is loaded, they'll steal the balance off of it. Retail and online store gift cards, this is when the scammers are going to use bots to test millions of combinations of card numbers and pins until they hit one that has a balance, and then they'll either steal that balance or they're going to make a list of those and then sell that for a profit on the black market. Discount and fake gift cards. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Craigslist. You'll see all the time people with sob stories or wanting to sell gift cards because they want cash. Even if it's a really good deal, beware. And gift cards for payments. So a lot of the imposter scams, computer takeover scams are going to ask you for a gift card for payment to avoid services being turned off and things like that. Some of the warning signs. If you're buying a gift card in store, look for tampering. Has the pin been exposed? How does the sticker appear? Is it appear scratched? Is it peeling? Is it altered? Has it been replaced? How does the packaging look? Is it discolored? Is there any bubbling, any peeling, any signs that it's been re-glued? And look at the packaging and compare it to other similar packaging of the same card. Are they the same? Are they different? So here's some examples. Here you can see the sticker has been altered. For these three, they're all different. Here you can see there was a label placed over top the barcode. And here the numbers don't even match. This one, some glue, some discoloring here, some slight yellow discoloring, and you can also see the glue released that they tried to re-glue. Here the color is slightly blue, and then we've got some bubbling. So some of the warning signs that it might be a scam is if you're asked to give out the gift card number and the PIN and/or the PIN over the phone or through text messages. Once the scammers have that number, the money is gone. Gift card payments are being used to avoid for stopping services or to avoid stopping services or avoid going to jail. They try to keep you on the phone. A lot of these scammers, when they're doing these gift card ones, are going to be keeping you on the phone, don't hang up, or if it's a text message like, hey, are you there? What's going on? Where are you now? It's very urgent, and like, what's happening? Keep me informed. If you're told which store to go specifically and buy from or what kind of card to buy. Some of the scams will tell you to protect your money from your financial institution. There's something wrong with your financial institution. You got to protect your money and put it all on a gift card. Okay? and any third-party retailer that offers to check your balance for gift cards. The only place that will have your true balance that's safe to check your balance is the store you bought the card from. And if you have to pay an activation fee. There's lots of different cards out there that are free of activation fees. If it asks you for an activation fee, just walk away from it. Steer clear. All right, so how you can protect yourself? Avoid buying from high targeted retailers. We all love these companies. Target, Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Best Buy, but so do the scammers because they know we love these companies. Buy from reputable institutions, financial institutions, merchants that have their stock locked up, or reputable retailers. If you're going to buy from one of these big companies, make sure you're pulling from the back or in an area that's really high trafficked, and both, right? A lot of movement going through where the cards are and in the back. Make sure you always get a receipt to verify your purchase if the card is ever lost or stolen. And check your balances often. And if you're giving them as a gift, encourage people to use them up quickly. And if you have fraud, report it to the merchant immediately. When you have fraud versus if you give out the information, they're different situations. So if there's true fraud, tell the merchant immediately and they might be able to help you. If they allow you to register your gift card and add a PIN, do so immediately.
Ask why we should use them up quickly.
Because the question was, why should we use them up quickly? The longer that a balance sits on a gift card, the more likely it is for some of those targeted bot attacks for them to find a balance and sell it off so somebody else could steal it. So it's just not, they're not secured the same way necessarily your financial institutions are, and they're not protected the same way like your debit or your credit card are, right? So it's just not a great place to let money just sit. So some ways to protect yourself. Continued is going to be buying online. If you're buying online, check that the store's URL is secure, that it's an HTTPS, it's a secure website. Never buy gift cards that are sold on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, no matter how good of a deal it is. And if you're called about fraud or an account compromise, call your financial institution. And only use gift cards at the store that they're issued, right? Google Play cards are used for stuff at Google Play. Amazon for Amazon, Apple for Apple. You're never gonna use like a Best Buy gift card to pay RPU. It's not how they work. And only use gift cards as gifts. It's the biggest thing I can encourage people to do. I know people use them sometimes for budgeting and other methods, but that's not really how they're designed, and this is your safest bet, to use them for gifts. Another question, go ahead.
Use only a secure website.
Mm-hmm.
How do we know that?
So the question was, use only a secure website, and how do we know that? So with websites, the way you're going to check them is when you look up at the top in the main bar, it'll say HTTPS for secure. If it says HTTP, that website's not secure.
The next one is what?
S, like Sam.
Oh, S.
Yep, so just HTTPS. So look for the S after the HTTP. Great questions. All right, so we're going to move on to travel scams. So with travel opening back up, people are looking for cheap airline tickets, and scammers are targeting travelers with all kinds of things from bogus booking flight websites to fraudulent flight cancellation emails to sudden price increase emails. So we're seeing, free vacation scams, robocalls about deals, vacation home scams, charter flight scams, and fraudulent or misleading third-party booking scams and booking sites. Another big one that we're seeing is payment verification after check-in. So I have a real-life example to share with this one. First, we'll go through some of the warning signs. If you win a free vacation, but all you need to do is pay for the booking fee, it's not free. If websites promising 5-star or luxury accommodations, but it has no details, it's likely a scam. There should be details about what those luxury accommodations are. If the website or online seller is offering airline tickets that are significantly discounted, use caution. If you're asked to pay, again, gift cards, person-to-person payment services, Bitcoin, digital currency, right? These are red flags again. There's kind of a pattern we see with these. If you get a call or a message and you're asked to pay extra or told your flight is canceled or there's a rebooking fee, or if you're asked to verify payment information over the phone, text, or email after you've checked in. So let's talk about Frank. So Frank was out of town for a business meeting. He checked into his hotel and provided his credit card upon check-in. Everything was good to go. He headed up to his room, kind of started going about his day. He got a phone call from the front desk. They were very polite, very nice. They said there was an error processing his payment and they needed to verify some information. So they collected his credit card number, his expiration date, the code on the back, his address. They said he would be good to go and he should have a wonderful stay. He went about his business meeting, everything was good to go, until later that week he started noticing really large charges on his credit card. Now, what Frank didn't know was a scammer had called the hotel and asked for a random room number and called him up and collected his credit card information and pretended to be the hotel front desk. How you can protect yourself. Do your research. Look up reviews before you send any funds for any type of travel or trip. Purchase your airline tickets directly from the airline or a third-party reputable site that has customer service. If you receive any messages about your trip, contact the airline directly to make sure the message is legitimate. This goes the same for car rentals, trains, any type of cruise line, anything. Contact the company directly that you book with. And if you're contacted about payment errors, physically go to the service desk. Hang up the phone, go to the service desk. If that's not possible, then review your payment account on your credit card or your checking account. Do you see the payment there? Did it already post? Is it pending? And as a last resort, tell them you're going to call them back and only call them back using the phone number on your original booking receipt. Walk away if the deal seems too good to be true. Ask experts and seek out recommendations from trusted sources. All right, friendly fraud and romance scams. So these people, these scammers, adjust their stories to fit the circumstances, to fit what they think you want to hear and what will work in each situation. They might say they can't meet you in person, or they'll make plans and change it suddenly because of an emergency, and eventually they're going to ask you for money or to move money or hold money. So there's dating and romance scams, which is more that intimate connection, seeking out relationships. A lot of these really involve that sense of love and deep connection. And then there's the friendly fraud or the acquaintance ones, which typically target more of like, I want to help you invest, or I want to help you pay off your bills, or just support you because you're struggling. With both of these scams, these are not quick hit scams. These scammers are in it for the long haul. These scams can go on for months or years because they're really hoping for a big payout at the end. So some of the warning signs are: be aware of promises to meet in person that never come to fruition. If you've been talking to, and then like what you get back is going to be similar interests, like, oh, you love books? I love books. So there's a lot of that like back and forth about mimicking what you love, because they're really trying to project that ideal connection and relationship. And the progression of the relationship. If you're moving from like just meeting to love in a really short time frame, like intense emotions, it's a huge red flags. These people use a lot of flattery language, you're so beautiful, and oh, you mean so much to me, and they really pour on the flattery that you want to hear. And then they're going to attempt to isolate you from friends or family and request sensitive photos or information. So this could really be moving you from like Facebook or the dating app you were on, where maybe other people can kind of get more information, and they're going to say, oh, let's chat more privately. Let's chat on WhatsApp. That's a more private channel. Let's use WhatsApp. Scammers love WhatsApp. I don't know what it is about it. It's super private. Or Google Chat. They're their favorites. If you're talking with someone on WhatsApp or Google Chat, use a little extra caution because they like to move you to these private channels. So here's a real example. Be real vulnerable here. This is me. So my family, we had just gotten a dog, a little puppy, and I was super excited, and it had a bunch of siblings, and we wanted to connect with other family members of the puppy to see if our puppies could meet its siblings. Well, my account is pretty locked down, so all you can see is this little picture of me and my son, and there was a couple scenic pictures on my profile. That's all you know about me. That's all this person knew about me, right? So his target, he picked based on thinking, okay, I have a single mom that likes dogs. It's probably what he knew about me here, okay? So you can see here, he says, hi, Stephanie. I know it's a little weird talking to someone you don't know, but your personality is bright and adorable, and you have a beautiful and bright smile here. Notice the flattery right out of the gate, right? With the extra smiley love emojis. Seeing you on my suggested friend options, I was drawn to your timeline, and every message you put out is fascinating and worth good content. There was nothing out there, by the way. But really, the flattery, right? Oh, I'm so interested in your content. We have so much in common. I would love to add you here so we could talk and get to know ourselves. But I've tried sending a friend request, and it seems not to get through, right? So bad grammar, and also trying to move to a private channel, something that's not public. If you could reach me, God bless you and your family, right? Trying to play some more on that emotion. This is what they do. These are the tactics that they use to play on our human emotion. So how you can protect yourself. Never send someone money that you have never met in person. I mean, I don't make it a habit to send anybody money, but really don't do it to people you don't know that you've only met online. Be wary of anybody who falls too quickly, too fast, or seems too good to be true. Trust your gut instinct. Your intuition will tell you something feels off. You just have to listen. Don't trust anyone who can't video chat. But also don't rely on video chat as security to make sure you know who somebody really is. Again, with the advances in artificial intelligence, we have to double check all of our communication now. Never give out your confidential information, and use caution when giving out any personal information. Use reverse image search. You can really pick apart somebody's story quickly by simply using Google reverse image search and searching any of the pictures that they've sent you. It's a really fast way to say, oh, this picture was easily stolen from this other person's profile. If you don't come up with a match, it doesn't mean they're safe, but at least it's one more puzzle piece that you're able to determine if somebody's who they say they are.
How do you do that? I don't know reverse image search.
So the question was, how do you do that? So reverse image search, when you actually go up on Google, there's like a little button that looks like a camera. It's kind of like it's not like an actual camera picture, but it's like a line. It's like off to the side of the search bar. So there's like the search bar you type in, and there's like the search, and then next to it there's a camera. So if you click on that, that'll bring you to the image search. And then you can either drop and drag a photo, or you can download a saved photo. And that'll search everything out there. There are better sites that find more, but Google image search is the first one I always send people to. If you're finding you really don't trust someone and you need help searching an image, you come see me here. I will help you figure it out, okay? Oh, back one. So run if they start asking you for favors or favors involving money. So this means, can I just deposit money into your account, or have my friend deposit money into your account because I don't have access to my bank account right now due to whatever reason. If they are asking you to use your financial information or for money in any way, run. Beware of sob stories and pet names. People that assign pet names or give you a sob story about why they can't meet or why their circumstances are the way they are, use extra caution. And do your research. Look people up, check their social media accounts, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Do they have multiple accounts, or Twitter, which is now X, right? Can you find them online, and does their information match across multiple profiles? Or when you search their name, are you getting multiple people with profiles with that name? Search their name with the word scam or scammer. See what comes up. Do your research. And ask for others' opinions. And here's the kicker. Listen to them. If someone says, this feels funny, listen. It's so easy for us to get caught in this emotional charge and trigger and get caught up in this relationship or this connection that we don't see it, right? Love is blind, right? We don't see it. So listen to people around you if they're saying something feels off here. So like I've said, knowledge is key and reporting is important.
You could maybe show the HTTPS in this.
Yes, I can. Great, thank you. So I'll show you that in just a second. So knowledge is key and resources or learning is important. So if you've been scammed, like I said, it can happen to anyone. No one is immune. Here are some great places to go to report scams. IC3.gov is the FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center, FTC, Report Fraud, and the Better Business Bureau. This will help protect other people from being scammed. The more we report and spread awareness and knowledge. And then build your own awareness. The Better Business Bureau, FBI, AARP, FTC all have great articles and resources constantly updated about current scams. So the question earlier about the HTTPS with the secure, we have a great example right here. See how it says HTTPS? That's the secure. If it doesn't have this S, use extreme caution. See how all these down here have the S's? All right. So lastly, we have your financial institution toolbox. So what do we have here at MEFCU for you to help support you? So we have our suspected fraud alerts. For your debit card and your credit card, you will get alert messages if there's something suspicious that we find odd that we want to verify with you. One thing we will not do, if we ask you to verify a charge, we will not come back to you and say, I need you, you've said, nope, this charge isn't mine. We will not come back to you and say, first I need you to verify that you're really you. I need you to send me a 6-digit code. We will not do that. That is a scam. That is, they're asking you to send the verification code, that's your backup security on your account to let you into your online banking. So never give out that 6-digit security code that you get on your text messages or your email, okay? But we do have alerts that will just say, was this you, yes or no? And then call this phone number to help us work through your fraud case. We also have lots of transaction alerts. These alerts are amazing. They're within your app or your online banking. You can go under transaction alerts. You can set up all different kinds of alert thresholds. You know, anytime you log into your online banking, do you want to get an alert that somebody logged in? Do you want an alert anytime an external account transfer is set up? Lots of different types of alerts that you can use and control in your online banking. Online banking gives you access to all your accounts to monitor them in real time. You know, checking your statements at the end of the month is very important and should be done at a bare minimum at month end when your statement comes. But with the world we live in today, it's really not enough anymore. I really recommend making sure you're keeping tabs on your bank account every couple days or so at a minimum, just to make sure you know what's happening in your accounts. We offer member support over the phone, text, chat, and in person. And our team is here to support all Mayo employees and their families. No matter who your primary financial institution is, we're here to support you, and anyone in our team is happy to review any type of situation with you. Questions?
Well, it's kind of interesting, just this morning, a relative called me, and after the conversation, or in the conversation, she said, oh, we're just having such a time paying off the taxes this year. They're so much higher than they've ever been before. There's no change in the family, same job, for the two of them, no children added or anything like that. And that really bothered me, and afterwards I thought, whoa, could the computer gadget she's using for taxes, because she's done her own taxes before, could that be a site that is not proper and they
Sure.
are milking them, but,
Yeah, so the question or comment is regarding a conversation with a family member that is dealing with some tax stuff, and there were some concerns about the increases in tax, and the question is, could the site that they're using to do their taxes be compromised or not legitimate? Does that sum it up? Yeah. So yes, it definitely could be, depending on how they're doing their taxes, who's doing their taxes, did they use an app or did they go to the website? It's possible that it could have been a scam site. Definitely if she's concerned about, or if they're concerned about the legitimacy of their taxes, I would definitely seek out a tax professional or contact the IRS directly. Yeah, there's some information on the packets, and I did give out packets to people live if we have them also. If people want, you can send a message into the support center and get them, but we have some information for identity theft and additional resources like tax fraud. There's on that form there. Any other questions? Anything online?
We've sold thousands of dollars on Facebook Marketplace, and I've noticed the last year that we keep listing stuff. At least 10 people message me immediately first, and I know they're scammers because they always ask for my phone number, and it's exactly what you said. You don't need to give them your phone number, and if you do give it to them, they're gonna sell it and do exactly what you said. Like, yeah. you gotta
Yes.
just stick with your,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, so the comment is just about Facebook Marketplace and selling items and the request for phone numbers and how the first 10 people that come through when you're selling something ask for your phone number and how they can use that phone number maliciously, not only to sell it to other people, but they also then can target you later in other types of scams. Yep.
And then also they'll, oh, I can come and get it immediately. Like it's exactly what you said, how it's urgent.
Yep, the sense of urgency with selling.
Totally that profile.
Yep, exactly. Yes. Yep. Anybody else?
well, I'll give you an instance that happened to me. All of a sudden, I had all my friends that I write to on email calling me and saying, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. And I couldn't figure out why, we had friendly talk. And finally, somebody calls, one of my cousins calls, she said, did you get the cards? Or the card numbers? And then I went, whoa, what's going on? And here, a scammer had said out that I couldn't walk, and I couldn't get down the stairs, and I couldn't go shopping, and I wanted something for my niece. Now, my niece is in her 50s. It was a toy of some sort. And if that person hadn't called me, I would never have known this was going on. Because nobody said anything other than, how are you? And they were asking for $400, go and get 4 gift cards at Walmart.
Yep.
And then send the numbers.
Yeah.
And I was so embarrassed at it. I had people calling Alaska, and anywhere in the United States where my cousins live and friends. And if that one cousin hadn't called me, I would never have known this went on. And I don't know how many lost $400.
Sure.
She had used a credit card to buy the $400, so she made it call the credit card.
Yeah. So the example given here in person is that they were actually used as the subject to scam other people, to scam their friends and family using a gift card scam, saying that they were sick and in trouble and they needed to buy something for another relative. And their relatives had called her repeatedly to confirm she was okay, and some of them did send out gift card numbers. I would say in that situation, there is a chance that somewhere your information was breached or compromised, your email or phone or something like that, that they had enough information about you to target your contacts, which is how they got the list of people.
And I contacted the federal, whatever.
FTC, it's a great resource.
So changed my password on my email.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with those ones, with the gift card scams, it can be very challenging because if somebody purchases the actual gift card themselves and then gives out the information, Your financial institution's not going to be able to do much for you because you did the transaction. It's not like a fraudster went into the store and used your card to purchase the transaction. You did the purchase. So I say it's like giving cash to a stranger. It's like you had the cash in your hand and gave it away. So be very, very cautious with gift cards. So, any other questions? Seth, do we have anything online?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.